Hello everybody, welcome to Physical Science. We're talking about the factor label method. And it's a way of doing math and making sure that the math is in the correct position before you do the math. So just want to make sure you know some math skills here. If we go 2 divided by 2, that equals 1, right? Just like if we go n divided by n equals 1. What if we had nm divided by n? That actually equals m, right? Because the whole thing is these cancel out. So we're left with something less than what we started with as far as the label. We're factoring out the label. What if we did something like this? We had nm, and then we have a factor over here, and we call these conversions. We also call these relationships. But if we had like 2L up here and we have an M down here, and this is stuff that I'm hoping you know from math, this cancels out because this is on bottom of the divisor line, and so it cancels out what's on top. So then our answer would be 2LN. Okay, so this is the kind of math that we're utilizing in the factor label method. So we're really just looking at what's up here, and if we're not happy with the label, we're going to have to put whatever part of that we're not happy with down here so we can factor that out and then be left with what we're going for. In this case, we preserve the n. Okay, so if you know and understand that kind of math, then we can move on. Okay, so we're going to talk about changing some SI numbers. So if we have like 44 millimeters and we want to know how many meters there are, well, there's an easy way to do that, and I know most of you have already done that in 8th grade and 7th grade. That'd be moving the decimal. So I'm going to teach you the next level of chemistry and physics math utilizing this, because we know that you can tell if the answer is correct in a different way. So we have to figure out how to look at this table. These are the tables that you often find in your books, and they're a little bit confusing, and I'll explain why. If you look at this, each power of 10 is going down by 1, except for right here, they're missing 1. Okay? So right here, there's no power of 10 labeled, and that power of 10 is 10 to the 0th, which is actually a 1. Okay? So that is going to come in handy here at some point, but I want you to put it on your tool so you understand what we're talking about. Now if you look at these are all names for prefixes, and those are used in front of the word, the base word, to tell what power of 10 we're using with the base. So another thing you got to know here is the base. Okay, so bases, common bases that we will use will be things like M for meters, L for liters, G for grams, S for seconds, and those are the most common bases. So for instance, how do these bases and these prefixes go together? Well, if I have a milligram, you can see here's the prefix, here's the base. Okay? Or I could have a microgram, which is what this is called. Here's the prefix, here's the base. So you notice the base is in the second position most of the time, unless you have a multiple letter prefix. But if I wanted to talk about megagrams, it's a big M and a little g. And so this is how this works. The base is always the last letter in there, and then the letters beforehand tell the prefix. Okay, so I want to make sure that you mark up your tool so you have these things on there. You'll be able to use this on the test. Another way you should mark your tool is somehow indicating that all of these numbers here should have a 1 times before them, and all of these numbers are always going with the base. So when we do the math, all these numbers are going to be going with the base, and it's going to have a 1 times in it. So if I'm looking at millimeters here, I see the number is 10 to the negative third. But the way I want to write this number is 1 times 10 to the negative third. And if we're dealing with grams for the base, then you would have that as the label. Because what that means is for every 1 milligram, there's 1 times 10 to the negative third grams. Now I know some of you understand this numbering system here, some of you don't. We're going to talk about that as well in another lesson if we haven't already done that. But for now we have to just learn how to work with these numbers. So let's use that one time.